Welcome back, everyone. For today's Business Matters, we have with us Don Ma, of course. Don, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's a nice day outside, so we're all in a good mood.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so we have a longer show on Business Matters compared to yesterday, so let me just get started on that right away. Starting off, DirecTV is offering some compensation to customers as the blackout of Disney-owned channels stretches into a third day. Now, the company is offering credits to at least $20 to customers who have DirecTV or DirecTV Stream and Uverse services, but customers won't be able to receive it automatically. What they have to do is they gotta go to a website and apply for it. Now, on Sunday, Disney pulled ESPN and other cable channels it owns from DirecTV's lineup after the two companies failed to reach a new distribution deal. The stations include Freeform FX and local ABC affiliates, including ones in New York, Chicago, and as well as Los Angeles. Now, the outage affects around 11 million subscribers, and this comes as college football and NFL seasons get underway and the US Open tennis tournament reaches its final few days. All right, overseas, Hong Kong's flagship carrier said today it identified 15 planes in its Airbus A350 fleet with engine components that require replacement. The airline saying that 3 have already been fixed, and the inspection led Cathay Pacific Airways to ground all flights involving the aircraft. So the carrier expects that the fleet will resume operations by September 7th. At Hong Kong International Airport, an information board showed cancellations of flights to Singapore, Tokyo as well. So Cathay Pacific has not disclosed specifics regarding the failed engine component. The airline did note that this was the first failure of its kind of any A350 aircraft. And back here in the US, hotel union workers are now on strike at hotels across 9 US cities. So the hotel chains facing striking workers include Hilton, Hyatt, as well as Marriott. As many as 10,000 hotel workers at 25 hotels stretching from Boston to the West Coast to Hawaii went on strike starting early Sunday morning. But as planned, 840 went back to work today. Meanwhile, workers are saying they want higher pay, better conditions, more staff to help. The union is asking for a restoration of many of the pandemic-era cuts that hotels made, including daily room cleaning. These strikes are set to end after 3 days. And Volkswagen is considering factory closures for the very first time, and this is coming amid increasing pressure from cheaper Chinese electric vehicle competition. The automaker aims to save $11 billion by 2026 to strive the transition to electric cars. The Volkswagen brand chief said today that the situation is very challenging and can't be fixed just by cutting costs. Now, as Germany's largest industrial employer and Europe's top car maker by revenue, Volkswagen employs around 680,000 employees. The company is saying that amid the pressure, it also felt forced to end its job security program, and all measures would be disclosed or discussed rather with its council, its works council, that is. One analyst actually told the Epoch Times that German plant closures seem unavoidable as Chinese competition undermines Germany's manufacturing model. So more potential trouble, legal trouble that is, potentially coming for the messaging app Telegram. South Korea's Yonhap news agency is reporting that local police are investigating the company's alleged role in abetting sex crimes. This probe has parallels to one happening in France, where Telegram's founder Pavel Durov was arrested last month. French authorities are reportedly investigating an alleged illicit activity on the app, including images of minors, drug trafficking, and more as well. Telegram supporters claim that the probes are attacks against the platform because it's not willing to censor content. And a tech analyst pointed out that there is tension between a push for government oversight of the platform and some consumers who want their freedom of speech protected. Okay, moving on from that, sometimes before you begin a new job, your boss is going to ask you to sign a non-compete agreement. It usually means that you can't work for any of the company's competitors after you leave. So legal experts are telling us that many new hires just sign these agreements without putting much thought, without reading them even. But once they leave, they aren't allowed to find work in the same industry, which could pose some problems. We spoke to some legal experts about the matter. Take a look.
If you have a non-compete agreement with your employer, you can't work for certain competitors after you leave. The restriction will last for a period of time. An FTC ban on non-competes was supposed to take effect Wednesday, but earlier this year, a judge ruled that the FTC has no authority to ban them, so companies can still ask you to sign one. So if you're handed a non-compete agreement to sign, the least you can do is
read it. So many people don't read them because they get them at the beginning of the employment relationship and, they're all gung-ho to start working and everything, and they're just like, oh, we're never going to break up.
Attorney Cynthia Augello says they often do break up, and the employee often doesn't even know what was in the contract. The agreement could seriously limit what you can do after you leave the company.
If it's a complete, you cannot work in this field at all, it's probably going to be a problem. So you would not be able to actually work. You can't work, you can't pay your bills.
Many states restrict non-competes. North Dakota, Minnesota, Oklahoma, and California have fully banned them. States like New York only allow non-competes that pass a 4-part test. It must be necessary to protect the employer's legitimate interests, does not impose an undue hardship on the employee, does not harm the public, and is reasonable in time period and geographic scope. Experts say there is an overwhelming chance most non-competes wouldn't meet this test.
Meanwhile, the Netherlands is fining a U.S. facial recognition startup about $34 million for a, quote, illegal database. So Clearview AI reportedly gathered billions of photos of faces. The Netherlands Data Protection Agency described the technology as highly intrusive. It also said that the company violated the EU's general data protection regulations. So Clearview AI said it does not do anything that would breach the EU's data protection law. It described the decision as unlawful and without due process, but the Dutch agency said Clearview AI did not object to the decision. And ahead of the next week's presidential debate, Goldman Sachs is making a push for the issue of small business to be included. The investment giant has launched a campaign through its nonprofit 10,000 Small Businesses. A billboard is up in Times Square, just blocks from ABC's global headquarters, where the debate will be held. A recent immersion and the Hill Post showed that the swing state voters consider the economy the most pressing issue. And according to the U.S. Small Business Administration, small businesses contribute to more than 40% of the U.S. GDP and employ nearly half the American workforce. Despite this, historically, small businesses has not been included in debate questions. Now, it turns out that many Americans have misunderstandings about Social Security and that it doesn't help that changes are coming next year. So Social Security's taxable earnings limit will increase by an estimated $6,000. That means more money from paychecks will be deducted for the program. The updated maximum will be announced next month along with a cost of living adjustment. The Senior Citizens League expects benefits to increase 2.6% next year, and active workers who are under the full retirement age and claim Social Security can earn more money next year before their benefits are withheld. And finally, eating alone doesn't have to be lonely. Reservation website OpenTable says an increasing number of diners are requesting a table for one. Let's now go to NTD's Andrew Thomas, who has the latest on customers looking to enjoy a nice meal solo.
Cancer researcher Parisa Imarad is married and has a big friend group, but once or twice a week, she likes to dine out by herself.
I'm a very sociable person. I have so many friends. I love spending time with them, but I also like to have some time just by myself.
According to OpenTable, solo reservations have risen 29% in the U.S. over the last 2 years. The restaurant reservation site says requests for tables for one are up 18% in Germany and 14% in the United Kingdom. In some cases, solo diners just want to treat themselves or experience a new restaurant.
And when you're by yourself, I think you can notice so much more, right? About the ambiance, about, the service that you're getting, about the food. You can order whatever you want.
Increasing interest in solo travel is also leading to more meals alone. Tim Standard of Bacchus Management Group says attitudes have changed over the years as well.
There was certainly a period of time when there was no solo dining. Over the years, I've seen it become more and more popular, sort of as the stigma of dining alone has faded. but it's certainly accelerated post-pandemic.
Restaurants aren't always thrilled to seat a single person at a table that could fit more. Others say it's worth it because solo diners tend to be loyal repeat customers. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
Now, before I go, let me just quickly mention September is historically a bad month for stocks. And you know, today was not such a good start for the month of September. All three major indexes ending in the red. The Dow Jones down 1.5%, S&P down 2.1% here, and the Nasdaq, the worst performer of the day, down almost 3.3%. Markets were dragged down by a decline in chip makers. So especially for Nvidia, it fell a massive 10% today. So stocks have been a strong run in recent weeks. We'll keep you updated throughout the next few days. And with that, all the stories for NTD's Business Matters. Chris, Fiona?
Don, I have to ask, do you ever dine alone?
So it's my position that if you're eating alone, just eat at home, because you know where I'm coming from with that is you're at a restaurant, you see everybody else with their friends, and you're just there by yourself. So I don't know. Just personally, I know everybody has their own preferences, but personally, I feel like if you're going to eat alone, I would prefer to eat at home.
Don, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. I love to eat alone. And it's not that I don't go out with friends. I go out with friends to eat a lot. But you know, once in a while, especially after a long day of work, of being around people, you just need that quiet me time. And you know, one of my favorite slogans, treat yourself. You know, even though you're alone, you should go out, get yourself a nice meal. As the lady in your package mentioned, enjoy the ambiance, order what you want, and you know, just take some time to relax and recharge.
Yeah.
You know, I think I've dined alone maybe once, but it was really nice. It was on my birthday a few years ago. But yeah, if I have the time to dine alone, I'm probably gonna go for a hike somewhere, because I just love hiking, but I don't get much time these days.
Right, so Fiona, that's a completely legitimate argument that you have, and nothing against it, but the restaurants that I've been to aren't very quiet.
Well, I mean, they're making more and more restaurants now catered specifically to solo diners. You know, I've seen restaurants where you have little cubbies and you sit in there and a waiter hands you your food through this little curtain, so you don't even have to talk to the waiter. So clearly there's a growing market for this.
All right, send me the link, I'll go there.
Fascinating. Don Ma, thank you.
Thank you.